MVP, and Raj has played an important role because I was the first international speaking engagement that I had was with Power Community. So thank you so much, Power Community, because you guys have played an important role in my journey. And so talking about myself, I'm Sumit. I'm working as a senior software engineer at Signetic. I'll talk a bit more about Signetic in a few of my next slide. And today I'll be talking about building a Power Platform solutions using Microsoft Dataverse for Teams. So in today's presentation, I'll be talking about Microsoft Teams and Power Platform, Dataverse and Dataverse for Teams, what we can do and what we can, how we can do things in Dataverse for Teams. I'll talk a bit about licensing. Apart from, I'll have a demo of our working app using Dataverse for Teams, and some final minutes for Q&A. So talking about myself, my name is Sumit. I'm from Kathmandu, Nepal, and I'm from Kathmandu, Nepal. It's in Asia, and my Twitter handle and LinkedIn and everything is there, so you can follow me and connect with me through these social media links. I was also recognized as a fast track recognized solution architect for this year, 2021, and recently I was also awarded with MVP, as Ras mentioned. I am also group leader of Power Platform User Group Kathmandu, and my expertise are in Power Platform, Power Automate, Power Apps. Apart from that, the project that I'm currently working on is Signetic Mass Vaccination Solution, using which we are providing vaccination solution uh, in different areas in USA. So it's a vaccination management system that is made using Power Platform mixed with Azure uh, and React for the front end. So we have till now vaccinated 306 people till now through our software. So now moving into the main agenda, I'll be talking about Microsoft Teams and Power Platform. So as we all know, Microsoft Teams is a communication platform which is being widely used at the moment because of the pandemic situation, as well as it's a wonderful tool for collaboration. And it's just not a communication tool, but it had lots of possibilities that you can do with Microsoft Teams, from holding meetings, communicating, sharing documents. Basically everything that you have in Office 365 is now can be integrated with Teams. And not just Office 365, the capabilities of Power Platform are now also an important part of Microsoft Teams. Apart from that, Power Platform is a collective tool which has basically things like Power BI, Power Apps, Virtual Agent, and Power Automate. So talking about Dataverse and Dataverse for Teams. So basically we have Dataverse, which is not just a simple database system that is used for Power Platform, but it's also a tool that we use for uh, it's also a tool that we use for uh, data storing, as well as it is a tool that we use for different data storage, as well as where we can store images, where we can store different way we can store data for Power Platform. And Dataverse for Teams is a collection of the capabilities of Dataverse per platform combined with the capabilities of Teams. So quickly moving on to why Dataverse. So basically, when someone who is not working on the Power Platform, you talk about with that person who is into regular software development, it's very hard to tell them what is Dataverse, because they would assume it's just a normal database system. But Dataverse is more than just a database system. It has the capabilities of overall management of whatever you can have from the database. So what sets it apart from just being a database? So first one is data management and integration capabilities. So you can basically manage data, you can import data, you can export data, you have offline capabilities with which you can use the database at the offline, you have reporting and dashboard, you have user management, you can do different activities, interaction. There is no code business logic and client side, server side. You can also do pre and post event business logic using plugins, which is integrated as part of the Dataverse itself. Then you have SDKs, APIs that you can use for third-party tools to access that. Then you have auditing, there you have Office and Exchange integration, searching and querying, SharePoint and OneDrive integration, currency management, database duplication, multi-language support, and there are pre-built UI templates from which you can create apps like model-driven apps. Then there is a part of Central of Excellence using governance and administration and develop building tools apart from the core database model. So lots of things that you can do with Dataverse, and and the main thing is you don't have to worry about the lowest part of what it does. With database you have to worry about how you're going to store image, how you do gonna currency management, or how you are going to do user management. But with Dataverse everything you get at bulk, so you don't have to worry about lots of things. It's given out of the box. uh, so what can you do with Dataverse for Teams? So again, Dataverse for Teams, it uh, it combines the power of Power Apps, Power Automate, Virtual Agent, and Microsoft Teams together. That means you can now create an app, you can create bots, you can automate workflows, and you can deploy it in one click. You also get a relation database and image file support. So basically, all the capabilities of Team combined with Power Apps, Power Platform, you get Dataverse for Teams. Now, for licensing, if you talk about licensing, uh, basically for Dataverse only, you might need to worry about lots of things like the price, the capacity, and everything. But for Dataverse for Teams, if you have Teams, you get the Dataverse for Teams for free. So the simple logic is, if you have Teams license, then you get Dataverse for Teams. So you have Dataverse and you have everything, but people might be wondering that even if you have Dataverse for Teams, you still can do without it, right? Because you can use Microsoft Team Visual Toolkit, Visual Studio, or VS Code to build Teams app. And so why do we need Dataverse for Teams? Because Power Platform makes it lot easier and faster. So just using Microsoft Teams Toolkit, you have to code, you have to do it from scratch. Everything happens from scratch. So you have to worry about lots of things, but with Power Platform, it's really easy, it's really fast. So you can do quick development as fast as possible, because in current scenarios, different businesses have very quick requirement that needs to be fulfilled as soon as possible. So the time to solve a problem is very less using Dataverse for Teams. So that's why using Teams Toolkit can be an option, but using Dataverse for Teams and with Power Platform, it's really easy to build apps in Teams. So what do you get? So for each Teams, you get a separate Dataverse for Teams environment. So when you create a Teams and you create a Power App in that team, for that team, and if you go to your admin center and look, you can see that there is a new environment is being created for that particular team. So for each team that you create, you get a separate Dataverse for Teams environment. And the next thing is, if the team is deleted, the Dataverse for team environment is deleted, so they are closely tangled. And apart from that, you also get a 2 GB storage. So you get a 2 GB storage for each Dataverse for Teams environment, and you can have up to 1 million record. And if the 2 GB storage capacity is not enough, you can also promote it to the Dataverse, which has unlimited capabilities, which you can add on. You can purchase capacity add-on and increase the capacity when you promote it to Dataverse. And for security, The security, this basic rule is OMG, that is owners, members, and guests. So the owner of the team, the member of the team, and the guest of the team, all three can access Dataverse for Teams and the Power App that is built in it. And apart from that, for permissions, so there is this new thing that they have introduced now, is you have different permission level that you can associate it. It does not have a security role kind of a thing that you get for Power Platform or a Dataverse, but you can provide accesses like full access, reference access, private access, or a collaborate access to either owner, member, guest, or a colleagues that you share the app with. I can show you a bit of a demo if we get time on this one as well. So basically, for owner, you get full access automatically, and those who have full access are the ones who can provide these permissions. For members, you can define either they need full access, they need a collaboration access, reference access, or a private access. Same with guests, you can define if they get a full access, collaborate access, reference access, or a private access. And same with colleagues that you share the app with. So for colleague with access, you need to create a Microsoft 360 security group, and then you can provide these accesses. So now that you have capability to create apps in Teams, there are possibilities that people might end up creating apps, and your system becomes an app garbage. So in your tenant, there might be lots of app that people might end up creating just to experiment with it. And for that, you can set up center of excellence. Will not go deep down into it, but you can define center of excellence from where you can get information of what apps are being created, what apps are being not being used, and based on that, you can do a cleaning of your tenant. And if you run out of 2 GB storage, as I mentioned before, you can upgrade it to the you can upgrade the Dataverse for Teams into Dataverse, and now you get a bigger capacity. Now I'll quickly move into the demo. For demo, I am going to create a work from home approval app. And the reason for that is I think it's more relevant right now because we are in a pandemic situation and everybody is working from home. And the best use of Teams and Dataverse for Teams is you can build apps that will improve the productivity in these kinds of simple flows. And rather than purchasing a foolproof new system, you can develop these small apps within Teams and improve your productivity and improve the processes in your business, because time is really critical in the business. So it's really important that we leverage whatever the functionality we have in Teams. So this is my Power Apps environment. So this is my Teams. I'm using browser because sometimes in my Power App it kinds of freeze sometimes. So I created a team called Power Apps Bootcamp Dev. So this is a team that I have created. I have just one channel, a general channel. So in this bootcamp, Power Apps Dev Bootcamp, I am going to create an app which looks something like this, and and then I will use an approval flow that will send out message to the supervisor, and from where you can approve the overall WFS processing. So the first step that we do is go to this more added apps option, which comes at the end. If you click this, you will get an option to say find an app. You can either go to more apps or you can directly search Power Apps from here. Since I just recently use it, it's showing over here, but it might not show in yours. So what you can do is you can search for Power Apps. And if it does not show up, you can go more apps. So you can search for Power Apps. Here you are. Okay. Okay, so Power App here. And if I click it and click on open, so I get this screen. And when you get this screen, since I have already tried out building this app to give this presentation, it is showing up here, but it might show empty in yours. So you also will get lots of other sample apps or apps that you might want to use. You can try these out, and there are apps like employee ideas, inspection, issue reporting, bulletins, and milestone. You can try these apps out. You can also edit and make as per as your requirement. There are different options from where you can start learning the Dataverse for Teams. So I will not go deep down into it, but if you want to see, you can try it out, search Power Apps from here, and it will end up showing up in this side. Uh, if you want it to appear forever, because if you refresh it, it will now disappear. So the Power App is okay. I think they have upgraded it. It used to disappear, but if you just want to keep it, you can pin it and it will stay forever. So now I'll start creating my app by clicking start now. Now, in my presentation before, as I've mentioned that the team app is associated to a particular team. So I need to define for which team I want to create this app for. So I have different teams that is being created. This is the team that I want my app for. So I click on this one and then I click on create. So now it's opening the Power App Studio for me from where I can build the app. So I need to name my app. So let's call it WFH Power Platform Dev Bootcamp Demo, I guess. So now I can click save. So this is saving my app and creating a new app for me. Okay, so now I have this app. There are some demo content that is being showing up here. There is a form that is not connected to any data. Uh, okay, so now I create a new table so that this table acts as a data source for this particular app. So now I create a new table. Let's call it WFH data for, let's just call it WFH data, and I can create it. So when you create it, you get this screen, which is almost like a SharePoint screen, because Microsoft is pretty consistent is with how it's giving us these features. So they have been really thoughtful about this particular UI so that we don't feel lost. So if you have used SharePoint and you have created a SharePoint list, it should be really easy for me because it almost looks similar, but instead of sharing in SharePoint, is storing it in Dataverse for Teams. So I have this first column that is being automatically generated. Instead of name, I might want to call it tasks that you going to apply for WFH. So this is going to be my tasks column, and it's saving. So since I am applying for work from home, there will be different status that particular work from home request will go through. So I will call this column WF status. And there are different types of columns that we can create. It can be an email, URL, phone, auto number, date, decimal, lookup, or choice. So I want it to be a choice option because there are predefined stages that this particular WFS request will go through. So the first stage will be pending. You request for a WFH, it will stay in a pending status at the initial stage. You can also define colors like in SharePoint just to give it a uniqueness, and you can identify it easily. Uh, Next thing would be, so now you have requested for a WFH, it's pending, and let's say your supervisor approve your request. Once your request is approved, you might need to submit the report at the end of the day. So I'll call it report pending. It's being approved, but your report is still pending, and I can still give a color to it. Next point is, so report is pending, and now you submit your report, and now the report is approved. Then the whole status become approved. So whole cycle of your WFH is done. But what if your WFH report is not convincing enough, or the WFH request that you have applied is not convincing enough for your supervisor? Then in that case, it can be rejected. So let's give it a color. I'm just giving it randomly. So we have four statuses: pending, report pending, approve, and rejected. Okay, so here we have. Now I create another column called report. So this is where we submit that these are the things that I was supposed to do in tasks, and report is these are the things I did. So supposed to do and I did in this one. Since report can be pretty long, I will go to advanced option and increase the maximum length. Let's just keep it 1000 for now, but you can keep it as per your wish. So tax is done, status is done, report is done. Next could be reason. So why you are applying for this WFH. So it's also a text field. So tax, WFH status, report, and reason. This is the reason I'm applying for the WFH. And the next step is, now task is done, availability. So since you are working from home, you might want to uh, state that this is the time period that I will be available for. And based on that, your team member, your collaborator can work accordingly. So yeah, so I'll put create. Now, the last field that I will put is date. So this is the date I'm applying this WFH for. So I might not be applying for today, but I might be applying for next week for some period of time. So for that, I will put it as date. So this is the date when this particular request will be applied for. So again, create. So this is the database table, and you can directly add records from here. If you have already some records that you want to import, you can add it directly from here. You can put data like something, maybe tags could be building WFH app, and then status could be pending. Since it's that pending status, I might not be submit the report, but after the report is being approved, I might submit it. Now I need to state reason, and reason would be probably it's COVID lockdown. So in Nepal, we are currently having a lockdown at the moment. Maybe in all of your, most of your countries also, there is similar situation. So due to lockdown, I'm working from home. So availability is all day because I have nowhere to go. And the date is 14. So so this data is now saving, and I now close it. So once this data table is generated, it will automatically create an app for you, putting all the association, building a form for you that looks something like this. This is made out of a gallery, a form, and there are some buttons that you can use. So this form is automatically created for you in Dataverse for Teams, and you can define different layouts for this particular gallery, because in my list I don't have want to see this picture because I don't have a picture to show, so I can just change the layout. So everything that was possible in Power Apps is possible here. I can make it 2 column. Yeah, so all the things that can be done in Power Apps can be done here, and I can just create a new record, and I can say preparing for demo. Maybe not putting report because I'm at the pending status. I'll just put a date and then I can submit. So in few clicks you just got a brand new app. But what if you don't want to have this app and you want to build from scratch? That's also something you can do, and you can create a new screen. You can start from completely a blank app, something like this, and here you can put whatever things that you need. So I'm going to create exactly something similar kind of app in a brand new screen. So I probably need a gallery to show a list of records. So from here, insert, I go to vertical gallery and I click WFS data. So I have list of my WFS records here. Then I can define my layouts just as what I did for before. Then I might need a form where I am going to create a new WFS request or an edit WFS request. So I'll click edit form. I'll place it in the center, something like here. And I can define for WFS data, this form is going to be for. Then I can create a icon to create a new record. So this is the icon, and maybe I can put a text called new record, or let's say new WFH request. And let's start it a bit. And maybe I want to call this app so this is my header. I want to call this WFH request app, and maybe I want to put a bit of a background by putting a rectangle probably, and this. And then I want to bring it at the front, so, and maybe change the color. So now when I click this new request, I want this form to work, because if you preview it, it will not work because I haven't triggered this form to be a new form. So I'll just use this and put on its on select. So on select is basically when it's clicked or selected, I want the new form. So this form is triggered as a new form. The name of this form is form 1. So I'll just put form 1. So whenever I click this button or this text, this form is triggered as a new form where you can create a new record. So let's preview it. I click this and this form appears. Now, when you create a new form, it's at pending status. So what I can do is I can set a variable calling it update context. So this is a local variable that I'm going to set new mode equals to true. So when this form is created, it's at pending state. So what I'm going to do is when it at new mode, I don't want to see this report. So I am going to put is visibility as new mode equals to. So when it's new mode, only at that period of time, I don't want this report to show up. So when it's not new mode, it will show up. Oops, the app is freezing. Give it some time. Okay, so now I click this and new form is created, but the report is not needed. I also want this WFS status to be pending by default when you create this app. So by default, if new mode, then WFS status oops, needs to go over default selected items. So I'm going to unlock this app, and in default selected, if it's at new mode, it will be WFS pending. Sorry, the app is bit. If not, it will be parent.default. So whatever the parent has, it will be if it's not at new mode. Dot default. Let's give it some time. Okay, so let's try. I'm clicking new mode. It's at pending state. I don't want the WFH, someone who is applying for this WFH, I don't want the status to change. So I'll put its display mode, which is over here, to display disabled, so that uh, the applier cannot change the status, and it's at oops, display mode disabled. Okay, let's give some time for it to process. Now it's disabled, and now I can use it to apply my WFH. So tasks would be again fixing the pending WFH status issue. Probably reason should be again COVID-19 lockdown all day and for today or tomorrow. And now I don't have a save button here, so I'll just put a button. I can go to insert and I can put a button. So this button can act as a way to save this. So let's go to text and make it save. So I have this button. I have changed this text to save. It's taking a bit some time to process this. Let's wait for a while. Okay, okay. Now this needs to do the saving of this form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do on select and put submit form. Which form? Form 1. Sorry, submit form, and the form name is form 1. Okay. Let's give it some time to process, preview it, save it. So it just saved the new record that I just created. So I don't like this formatting. I want date to show up instead of reason. So I'll just put date here and it will show up date in this gallery. Now creating a new request is done. I might want to edit a new request. So for that, what I need to do is this is the form. I'll go to its item and I'll define the selected item here is my item. So the name of this gallery is gallery 1. So I copy it, come here and put gallery 1 dot selected. So whatever I click here, it comes as a selected, but when I click here, it will come as a empty form. So I select it, and now it's not working because I need to define the selection part of it. So if I go, it's on select, it says select parent. So on the parent, what I'm going to define is on select, edit form, the name of the form is form 1, and then I don't want that new mode to be reset. The new mode that I have set in WFS new, I don't want it to be true. So new mode is equals to false. Sorry, update context. So yeah, let's preview it. Let's click here, and now I can update it and save it. So now this is saved. Everything that I do is here, and if I go and check my data from here, I can see that these data are being stored in this particular database. Now this is the app that we have created. Now we can also use the power of Power Automate and put some develop some approval flow, so that whenever a new WFS request is created from here, it goes to your supervisor for the approval, and then the supervisor can approve it. Before that, I'll publish it to Teams. So it needs to appear in Teams. So I'll publish it to Teams. So next, and I need to define on which channel that this app is going to appear. So in the general app, I want it to appear. So I'll just click here. So it'll appear in this in this particular tab, and save and close. So the name of the app is WFS Power Platform Bootcamp Dev. Let me open my Teams from here, and let's go to general. So this is the app that I created. I created for the test. This is the app that I just made while doing the demo. So I come here, and now I can see this app. So this is the app that I have here. Now I'm going to create a Power Automate that will automate the flow of this app, and then send the approval requests to the supervisor. And since Power App is showing here, I can just click Power Apps here. If it's not, you can search from here, but I'll just go here. So over here, I'll go to see more, and then this is the theme that I want this approval flow to work. So when I go to new, it will not show up my cloud flows. So I just need to go on see all. And when I go to see all, there are different options that you get. So I have two tables. One I tried out before doing this demo, and this is the table that we just created. Over the cloud flows, I will create a new flow. This is the one that I created it before. So I'll create an approval flow which gets triggered when there is a new record in WFH data. So I'll create a cloud flow. I'll make it automated. So over here, I'll just skip it. So let's call it approval flow. Flow demo, and search Dataverse here. So I need to define the trigger for this particular situation, and the situation is when a row is added, modified, or deleted, because it needs to work when you create a new WFS request, and it will act as if it's a pending request. When it's modified to request pending, then and another approval clause to approve that request. So I'll use this one, and the change type would be create and update. The table name would be WFH data, and then scope would be you can put business unit or organization, not user level, because multiple users within a business unit can use it. So just business unit for now. So new step would be, so I need to know which user sent this trigger. So Again, I'll search for Dataverse, and within Dataverse, I'll go for get a record by ID, and I'm going to define WFH data. Oh, sorry, this would be users. And which user? The user who created that record. So created by. Now I know the information of the user. The next step would be to check condition, and rather than using condition, I will use switch. So in the switch control, I will put the WFH status. So in WFH status, if the value is equals to 0, which means it's pending, I will do certain action for the approval. If it's not pending and if it's report pending, it will do certain access, and for reject and approve, we might not need to do anything. So if it's at pending status, I will create an approval flow, search for approval here. And over here we have wait for approval, start and wait for approval, create an approval. You can create, you can use either of these by depending on your situation. I'll just use start and wait for approval. So it will send an approval to the supervisor, wait for the person's approval, and then go to the next preceding steps of the flow. So I'll use start and wait for approval. And the approval type is, you can define if everyone must approve, first to respond, wait for all responses, or wait for just one response. So mine would be, I'll just use first to response, and the title would be so I want to know the name. So since I use get a row by ID, so full name has requested for WFH, and let's just assign to me myself. And the next is I'll put some details. So I'll just copy the title and then followed by uh, requested date, which would be over here, date. Okay, this is the one. And then task that the employee has promised, and then availability. This is the information that will go, and I think this should be it. Now I'll put a condition. So the start and wait for approval, it will wait, and there will be a condition where I am going to check the outcome, and if the outcome is approved, I'm going to update my record. Update table would be WFH data, and row ID is again WFH data. Task is sorry, I'm going to change the status to this, my status to report pending, and if it's rejected, I'm going to come here and update the status. Put WFH data, and ID would be again WFH data, and the task would be nothing, but since it's a no, since it's not approved, I'll put the status to rejected. So let's save this, test for this condition, and we'll move to case 2. So let's just open my Teams in another browser. Let's go to my Power Apps, or you can just go to the Teams to test it directly. I'll go to my build. This is the app that we created, right? So I'll just create this one, open this one. So let's test if the approval flow really works. Yes. We might need to be patient a little bit. So WFH data is the table, everything is set up. Let's preview this. Let's create a new record. testing approval flow report. Oops, this should not have appeared. Wow. Okay, new record. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Um, I forgot that I made two screens. So let's just delete this. So this is my screen 2 preview. I create a new request. Tasks would be test, pending, or approval flow. Status is pending. Reason is again COVID-19 lockdown. Availability is all day. Date is probably today. I save it. So it's saving. Let's check my log. Okay, this is the one. So in the running history, let's refresh it to see it's being triggered. Sometimes it takes time a bit to trigger. Let's check if we have done any mistake, but sometimes it takes time to trigger. So the table we are using is let's verify it's WFS data, and it's WFS data should work. Okay, so it worked, but it failed. Let's see. So it failed over here. Let's check what mistake that I have done. Okay, this should be the one that we should put. I think I put this one. It's created by value. I'll save it. Go back and then rerun this. So yeah, this one is good. This one is good. Now it's going to switch condition. Condition is start for with approval, and I guess I might have got a request over my Teams. So I'll just open my Teams, and I would get an email as well. So let's check if I get anything over here. Okay, this is the request that I have just got. Now this is the requested date, this is the task, this is the availability. So now I can just approve this, and when you approve this flow, sorry, the flow will go trigger down and will trigger the updated will update the record. So yes. So now flow, sorry, let's see here. This is the cloud flow. This is the one that we created. It succeeded. Oh, sorry, I think this is the, so it got triggered when a row is created. It fetched the ID, then it came to here. It start for an approval process, and then it checked the condition and it updated the row. So now the app that we have, oops, so the app that we have, the data is now changed to from pending to it will be report pending. Let's just check it from Teams. It would be easier. So this is the app, and I think this is the one, right? Okay, so status is now changed to report pending, and now you can put your report as well. So another condition that we need to check is if the report is there or not. So I need to know which column it is for the report. So I'll just go, I don't know what's happening. So let's just go to Power Apps. Okay. I guess using multiple browser is a very bad idea. Multiple tabs. So let's just go and check. So this is my table. And I need to know the name of the report column. So let's just check the report column. I'll copy the name of this column and come back to my cloud flows. This is my approval flow. Yeah, this is it. Now I'm going to put the case 2 as well. If you have any question, you can put in the chat link below, because I think I'm about to finish. So over here, I'll put a condition that it needs to trigger if there is a report being changed, and then over here it will check the condition if the status is report pending. So over here I'll start another approval flow. Start and wait for an approval. Approval flow is first to respond. Then again, whatever I put here, I'll just copy paste it. Assign to myself, and then just instead of requested, it will now be reported. Let's call it reported. And then I'll put another condition that will check if it's approved or not. So I'll check for the outcome and put the value as approved, and then put a condition that would approve my flow. Update a row, fetch data, and then I'll put a row ID, which is again fetch data. And then in the WF status, it will be approved or it will be rejected. So probability and WF status is rejected. So if the report is convincing enough, it would get approved. If it's not, if it get rejected. And we'll all check if there is a report or not. So this saving, let's come back here. Let's put a report here. I worked, sorry. I worked on, just save it. Let's come and see here if it's triggered. Okay, so this one is triggering. First one is good, second one is good. It should go to case 2, because now we are approving the report. It's now to case 2, it's waiting for the approval, and I'll check my activity. Again, I have another request which says has reported for WFH. I should have put the report also, but which I forgot. So I'll just approve it, and then I come back here and I can see that this worked, and then it comes down to here. It checked the condition if it's approved or not. Since it's approved, it's updating the row. And now if I go and check my app, which is somewhere over, oops, which is over here. Sorry. So I'll just go to my themes. which is over here. Check my app. I guess it's the third one, and it should be approved. So this is the complete flow of using Power Automate, Power Automate, Power Apps, and combine it to create an app or an experience in uh, Teams. So this is how you can implement Dataverse for Teams. If you have any question, I think we have 5 minutes or 4 minutes. So let me check. Uh, I think there are some questions, right? So we can use Dataverse for free if we do on Power Apps Teams. It can be only seen if we log on. Yes, yeah, it can be work on mobile as well. You can see it in your phone, but it's a little complicated. You have to click on the ellipsis option and it'll show the app in your particular team. So this is for Rita. For Mehdi, is there a possibility to manage the environment to be displayed on Teams? Do we also have possibility to hide default environment for a group of users for a specific and keep only the environment they have right to access? We would like to implement this on approval apps. Thank you. I think you can hide it for specific users because if they are not in the team, they cannot see. On the admin side, if you don't have particular access, I think you might probably not see, but I need to look into the details. How can we find this session after it's finished? I think recordings would be provided, I guess, from the organization, so you might be able to see. I have also put the similar demo in my YouTube channel, so you can go to my YouTube link, which I think is somewhere in my first slide. So the same thing what I have demoed is in my YouTube channel, so you can go to bit.ly/ Power Platform Tutorials to check on this one. We need to use it within team, but we can. So there is a question by Tripathi Pawan. So we can use this as a standalone app, but so yeah, it needs to be used within teams, but you can share it with your colleagues. I think I showed you regarding the permissions, so you can share it with your colleagues. You can export it as well and you put it to be available within the teams, but you have to give the sharing access. Yes, the apps created within the teams can be responsive. This is to answer Vignesh's question. Let me just show. So if you go and do bit of this, you see the responsiveness that's happening, but it has its own tricks. You need to use containers and look a bit. You need to know about how you can use containers, and these apps are responsive. I have also a tutorial on how to create responsive app on my YouTube channel, which you can follow. Uh, Okay, so I'll post the link of my YouTube channel and you can maybe see some of the tricks on responsiveness. Plus, you can see same demo in my channel. I think my time is over. Raj, you there?
Thank you once again, Summit, for that excellent starter session for the Power Apps Bootcamp. So that is probably the best type of session you can get to get started with Power Apps. So again, and obviously with Teams. So again, thank you so much, Summit, for a great introduction to the community and for those looking to get started. So thank you so much, Summit. And again, please share I know you're creating a lot of content on Power Apps. So please share your link. And a lot of people are interested. So please share your link in the chat window. That would be great. So that was Summit. For those who don't already know Summit, there you go. Please follow him. He's doing some fantastic work in the community and definitely very, very exciting time. So over onto our next speaker. Now, this is someone who I am aware of from the developer community. He does lots of work. based out of the APAC region. He is a Microsoft MVP. He is a leader of the developer community. And so I am so excited that he is here today, because normally for over the past 5 years, it's been very hard to get developer engagement. But Fikri, we can see you online, Fikri. So first of all, I'm a big fan of yours, yeah? Because I know that of the work you do for the developer community, for especially around the APAC region as well as global. Fikri, tell us a bit about what you've been doing from a developer perspective.
So what we are doing is like we have the Sri Lanka Developer Forum for like 14 years in Sri Lanka. So we started with .NET. The first versions it's available when we had this small .NET group, like, and then we moved towards with like other